who has gone into heaven and is at the right hand of God, angels and authorities and powers having been made subject to him. This verse exalts the supremacy of Christ, who has gone into heaven, refers to his ascension, an event that marks his triumph over sin, death, and Satan. Acts chapter 1 verse 9 describes this moment. While they watched, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. His ascension demonstrates his divine authority and his finished work on earth. This is not a departure, but an exaltation to his rightful place. And is at the right hand of God signifies Christ's position of power and authority. Psalm 110 verse 1 declares, "The Lord said to my Lord, sit at my right hand till I make your enemies your footstool." The right hand of God is not a physical location, but a position of honor and sovereignty. From this position, Christ reigns as King and intercedes for his people, as seen in Romans chapter 8, verse 34. It is Christ who died, and furthermore is also risen, who is even at the right hand of God, who also makes intercession for us. Angels and authorities and powers having been made subject to him, underscores the totality of Christ's rule. All spiritual beings, whether angels or fallen powers, are under his dominion. Philippians chapter 2 verse 10 proclaims, "At the name of Jesus every knee should bow, of those in heaven and of those on earth and of those under the earth." Christ's authority is absolute, extending over every realm. The forces of darkness that oppose God are utterly defeated and subjugated to Christ's rule. This verse calls for reverence and submission to Christ's supreme authority. Are you living in submission to his rule, or are you resisting his lordship in your life? Matthew chapter 28 verse 18 declares, "All authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth." To deny Christ's authority is to rebel against the King of Kings. This rebellion invites judgment, as Revelation chapter 20 verses 11 through 15 warns of the eternal consequences for those who reject his rule. The ascension and enthronement of Christ demand your confidence in his victory. Are you living in fear of the spiritual forces of evil, or do you trust in the one who has defeated them? Colossians chapter 2 verse 15 reminds us, "Having disarmed principalities and powers, he made a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them in it." Fear of the enemy is misplaced when Christ has already triumphed. Live boldly in the power of his victory. This verse also challenges you to consider Christ's intercession. Are you relying on his ongoing work as your advocate before the Father, or are you trusting in your own righteousness? Hebrews chapter 7 verse 25 declares, "He always lives to make intercession for them." Your confidence before God must rest entirely on the finished work and continuing advocacy of Christ. Finally, this verse confronts you with the certainty of Christ's return. The one who ascended will return to judge the living and the dead, as Acts chapter 1 verse 11 declares, "This same Jesus, who was taken up from you into heaven, will so come in like manner as you saw him go into heaven." Are you ready to stand before him when he returns, or will you be found unprepared? Revelation chapter 19 verses 11 through 16 describes his return in power and glory, a moment that will bring fear to his enemies and vindication to his followers. Time is short and Christ is reigning. Submit to his authority, trust in his intercession, and live boldly in his victory. Let your life reflect the reality of his ascension and the certainty of his return. This is your calling. Live accordingly.